from TRT World Research Centre. Thanks so much for being with us. Serkan, this tiny but beautiful strip of land is highly contentious. First, explain why, and why the timing of this decision.
This week is a very interesting week for Turkish Cypriot politics. We have presidential elections on Sunday, and Prime Minister Ersin Tatar, who's running against incumbent President Mustafa Akıncı alongside other candidates, announced recently that a portion, and only a portion, of the suburb of Maraş, or Varosha in Greek, of the city of Famagusta will be open to the public. And it's only a piece of coastline and a certain street parallel to that coastline. In 2017, a beach further south was opened, and I think the long-term inclination is to open this city once more under Turkish Cypriot administration and welcoming back the majority Greek Cypriot property owners. And the area is quite significant, of course, because it's long been used as a bargaining chip in the negotiations. There was once this idea that we'll give you Maraş and you give us direct flights to Ercan in northern Cyprus. That's now gone. And the Turkish Cypriots, having been quite exasperated at the cycle of endless negotiations, are making their own moves on this location, rather like the Greek Cypriots have made their own moves with regards to natural gas.
So tell us then what happens actually to the military that has been stationed there for years now. It seems lawmakers in the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus hadn't really agreed on the details of moving them out.
Yes, the government has actually collapsed. There was a coalition government, and not that presidential candidates are against the move opening Maraş, especially in the long term, but they disagreed with the way that the current prime minister has gone about the decision. So Kudret Özersoy, who's been saying he wanted to open this place in 2014 onwards, from 2014 onwards, he had the idea of opening it then. He said that the foreign minister was bypassed, or some of the other candidates are saying the timing wasn't very correct, because we do have elections coming up on Sunday. The area is a military zone, but it's not heavily militarized. I mean, there's a small sort of military establishment there. You can drive through it as you go to cross to the south of the island at the Dyrminya crossing point. So it's not this kind of highly militarized zone. You can pass through and see all these kind of derelict buildings. It's been taken over by wildlife. And a lot of the buildings need kind of repair or reconstruction from the ground up. A lot of the property owners are Greek Cypriot, but Evkaf, the Turkish Cypriot foundation from the Ottoman era, lays claim to a lot of the land and says that some historical injustices have occurred to it.
Okay, but you mentioned that it's possible Greek Cypriots will be allowed to return to the homes that they earlier evacuated. If that is the case, I mean, could that be seen as at least a small step toward reunification of the island?
Well, in my opinion, it's a good move, because rather than waiting for a solution, and we've waited for decades upon decades upon decades, Greek Cypriot refugees, as they class themselves, and their descendants are also classed as refugees, so they can return if they so wish. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. And the Greek Cypriot leadership may not want this to happen, because they may want to not engage with Turkish Cypriot officials, Turkish Cypriot municipalities, the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, because they believe that it may implicitly recognize these institutions or this government. But from a kind of humanitarian perspective, which the Turkish Cypriots want to emphasize, this could be a win-win. And it could be a way to break the stasis that we've seen on the island and sort of reshape the status quo a little bit more.
Serkan, great to have you. Thank you so much for joining us with your analysis.